had to make a video getting on these cats, man, because they feel like they some kind of authority to speak on the Bible when these cats, their knowledge of the scriptures is all regurgitated from Tazadaqyah. They don't do research themselves. And when you go into Hebrews 5 and 12, which I showed a video of this cat, Little Penny, Chris Rock lookalike here, St. Basil Leaf, this cat talking about Hebrews 5 and 12.
For one for the time you ought to be teachers.
For the time you ought to be teachers. Read on.
You have need.
You have need. Read on.
That's one.
How many?
That's one.
How many?
That's one.
You have, God is telling you how this is going to happen. For the time when you ought to be teachers, you have need. That's once. Not many, not a whole bunch. Once. One. Read on.
Teach you again.
That one was going to teach you again. God was going to put the spirit on one to teach you everything that you needed to know as a nation by the word of God.
See, the problem is that these modern day street niggas don't speak Old English. They don't understand the way that they spoke back then. That you can use the word one and it's not talking about a specific person. That it's talking about an indefinite person. It's an indefinite pronoun, which is short for someone. You have need that someone teaches you again. When it's time for you to become a teacher, you have need that someone teaches you. That's as simple as it is. But you have here these cult members who are regurgitating what they learned from Tazadaqyah because they don't do their own research. Everything comes from their cult leader. But because they have a dogmatic belief, it's not going to change regardless of the evidence. They don't follow the evidence. They mold and lie and manipulate scriptures to fit what they want it to say.
You understand that? Now the question that you should have is, where is that book? Where is that book? It's like this. You understand
that? So to read it with more clarity, Hebrews chapter 5 verse 12 says, For the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become as such have need of milk and not of strong meat. So if this is only speaking about Tazadaqyah, then what was Paul doing here in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 2? I have fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto you were not able to bear it, neither yet now are ye able. Is Paul the comforter too? According to your logic, you have to say that Paul is the comforter. But we know that the way that you're explaining Hebrews chapter 5 verse 12 is wrong, because you don't know that one is not talking about the number one. Look at. So what's going on here is basically the group called the Injustice League, which are ex-members of the ICGJC, who came across vital information about the cult leader of their church.
But nevertheless, we got a table full of stuff right here that we should not have access to. I mean, look at this. All this stuff from the van that was in Zahab's van, a bunch of garbage and trash, okay? And now Zahab is going to tell you about these envelopes, and we're going to show you the proof of what was in Zahab's van. So, Zahab, go ahead.
Right, so opening up the van, right? Checking it out. I'm seeing all these bags, tons of bags, tons of stuff. Start getting to the bottom of it. All these bags are full with kites, priest funds, pledges, donations, and all that. So
you now are looking at a discrepancy within your belief.
He went and took a van back, right? And he admitted that he took the van.
Took his own van.
All these new clothes and coats and all of these belongings in there.
Which Tazadaqyah was hiding.
And when he lifted up and beneath it is all these envelopes.
Which Tazadaqyah was hiding.
They showing all these envelopes and all of that, right? Okay. My question is, where's all the personal belongings that you pulled off in the van with? Niggas just forget to admit that. That's called stealing.
So they're trying to, this is a comeback. This was a big comeback when the Injustice League came out and exposed Tazadaqyah for stealing and hiding things in a van. So now they're trying to say that they stole Tazadaqyah's property. Well, my question to that is, how come Tazadaqyah didn't call the cops? If Tazadaqyah had his stuff stolen, why didn't he call the cops? Where's the police report? Because Tazadaqyah is not going to call the cops and expose himself. He knew that when that van was found, that he was exposed. What about the testimonies of Tazadaqyah's ex-wives? When you have 3 different women, Nisha, Yahalama in Orlando, and Lauren in Orlando, who I spoke to recently, 3 different independent witnesses that do not know each other saying the same things about this man, you have to be an irrational thinker to assume that all 3 of them are lying and continue to believe that Tazadaqyah is telling the truth. If that's not the definition of confirmation bias, I don't know what is. Why should anybody be out here believing you guys? It's ridiculous, the audacity that these guys come on the internet with. But you come on the internet, you showing face, expect to get roasted. Your whole doctrine is unverified. And here you are defending your cult leader. If you would have found out something like that and came back to members in the church, they would have did you the same way.
That you learn in the Israelite church is God Jesus Christ. It was all fake, it was all phony, it was all of Satan. Guess what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to drop it. Ain't that what happened when we came into the truth? Right. Everything that we believed in the world, we thought it was the devil. Right. So
they didn't drop all the beliefs because the only thing that came in conflict with what they believed was that Tazadaqyah was a man of God. That has nothing to do with any other claim besides the fact that Tazadaqyah was calling himself a man of God and was found out to be a regular nigga from the streets, divorcing multiple women. He does not have one successful marriage. He drove his baby mother to damn near suicide.
I was his opponent. I was one of the few people that stood up to him. And he didn't like that. So he would put his hands on me frequently in the middle, and from the beginning to the middle of our relationship towards the end. He was loose with the hands. And so finally I'm like, oh, he'll hit me, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna leave or whatever. And he's like, oh, let's go to council, let's work this out. And I'm like, all right, I have all these children with this man. I made my bed. I have to lie in it. I can't leave him. I can't divorce him, right? Maybe if I go and get wisdom from these elders, I can work on my soul and, make things better. So I went in, and we were stating our problems. And then I told him, I was like, this man is hitting me. So Shar got very angry, and he yelled at me, and he was like, this is the God-sent comforter. Sister, that you're accusing this man putting his hands on you. He would never do nothing like that. Now, I'm whispering because I'm home and people are sleeping. But he was loud when he was speaking. You can call it yelling. And I looked at him, and I'm looking at Shaw like, really? Really, dude? But I'm not giving him the attitude because, of course, I was under the order of trying to be this righteous woman, trying so hard. So I was looking at Shaw, and, I had tears in my eyes, and I'm like, I'm in disbelief. I had Ariar, I had Shaw, and I had Tazadaqyah in the room. And Jermaine stood up, and he was like, pulling his belt up and his pants up, but can't pass his belly. Anyways, he was pulling that up, and he was like, nah, she right. I did hit her. So he basically told her that he did. But, he said after that, but this woman, wicked as hell. So I guess in his mind, since I'm a wicked little woman, it was justified. So Arya piped down, not Arya, Shar piped down, and he stopped. He kind of like looked at me and kind of looked away, like, because he kind of felt like, oh shit, she was telling the truth and I was just chewing her out, right? So then Arya came and he looked me right in the eye. He was like, sister, you got to get yourself right. And I'm like, but he hit me. He's not supposed to hit women. I was like, he's sitting here teaching the brothers Don't put your hands on your wife. Love your wives as Christ loved the church. Love your wives as you love your own flesh. I'm like, if he's teaching the brothers that, why is it okay for him to do it? So Arya's like, it doesn't matter what he does. You need to get yourself right. And I looked at Arya, because it's like, I knew at that moment, these men had no power over him. I knew at that moment he was not going to get corrected for what he has done. Anything that he was doing. I knew at that moment in time, counsel was a joke for myself. I thought because personally I was with him and he was the so-called God-sent comforter, I will never be vindicated. I will never have justice. I will never have this man repenting for what he's done. And having other people tell him, yo, you wrong. So I think we went to council like 1 or 2 more times. And that was it for me. I was done. And it didn't matter if he said, let's go to council after we would finish fighting and stuff like that. I'd tell him straight up in his face, council is biased. It's towards the men. I'm not going to get no satisfaction there. They're just going to harp on whatever I'm doing wrong, and they're not going to say nothing to you. So, of course, Jermaine got very upset. And he said, those is righteous men in there. They're the men of God. But the men of God didn't correct you. Not one time did the men of God say to you, brother, you was wrong for putting your hands on your wife. Not one time did the men of God say, brother, you're supposed to love the sister like you love yourself. Not one time did they pull scripture out saying how he's not supposed to beat me. And he's supposed to treat me good. And he's supposed to love his wife. Not one time. The whole council meeting became a me issue. And how I needed to act as an Israelite woman and as the wife of Tazadaqyah.
He used a sister in Orlando as a sex toy.
It was like I was more of a slave than a wife. I wasn't treated like a wife.
I didn't make that up. These are different testimonies from different people who don't give a crap about the church. They just want to tell their story so members in the church can hear it. And here you are trying to hinder all these testimonies from being heard with your defamation. Just because these people are out here trying to alert members of the church, current members, of things that they are not aware of, it has nothing to do with anything else. Everything else you're trying to assume that their motives behind that is all speculation. You're trying to defame them and bring out any little thing that you can find about them. But as I showed in my last videos, I can bring out things about you guys all day long. I have a council report of a brother in Orlando divorcing his wife because his wife couldn't continue believing that Tazadaqyah was a man of God, and justifiably. Because of a man on earth, another man divorced his wife. You figure that out. So these men finding out that Tazadaqyah was robbing the treasury has nothing to do with the rest of the doctrine. So this is illogical.
Whatever belief that we had, exactly, whatever belief that we did before we came into the church, we didn't continue on with the
Tazadaqyah didn't come up with the doctrine of blacks being the Hebrew Israelites or the 12 tribes doctrine.
So if this is all a lie and now you woke, you're supposed to forget everything you learned here and start your new path.
These men are not saying that this is all a lie. What these men are saying is that Tazadaqyah is a liar, which has nothing to do with any other breakdown that ever came out. It has no bearing on that.
All them niggas are not Antichrist. Who's the Antichrist? Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one. That's an argument from ignorance. If you're not the Antichrist, and who's the Antichrist? Prove that they're the Antichrist. Let's go to the scripture, which you misinterpret, which Tazadaqyah misinterprets. Your so-called man sent from God doesn't even know the difference between singular and plural. Your so-called man sent from God doesn't even know the meaning of the word prior.
Evidence of my works is all the churches and all the people that's in the truth prior to me getting there. That's the evidence.
This is talking about the ancient Israelites during the time of the Roman Empire. So it says, little children, it is the last time. And as ye have heard, that Antichrist, singular, shall come. It is talking about one person. Even now. So in that time, not now in Harlem, not now in 2018, it's talking about back then. Even now are there many antichrists. So you ask, who are the antichrists? They were the people that left Jesus Christ back in John chapter 6, verse 66. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have no doubt have continued with us. This is talking about during the time when this was written, not now. It's saying that in the future, an antichrist, one shall come. And it's saying that at that time, there were many antichrists, plural. But it's saying that one antichrist shall come. So your whole breakdown doesn't make sense. You're putting yourself in the position of these men that wrote this. This is not you, bro. You're not John. You weren't walking with Jesus Christ. Those people that were walking with Jesus Christ, they had a lot of people that didn't believe and left. And they called them antichrists, plural. But they're saying that an antichrist shall come, which is one. You're calling all the members of the Injustice League antichrist. That's grammatically incorrect. They fool a lot of uneducated people.
So I was just like, okay, well, I mean, I got to go with him because he was a so-called comforter, the so-called God-sent comforter. So who am I to be questioning? When he finally decided that it was okay to lay down together, which was, again, in a few months, everything that I was taught was, again, the total opposite.
What do you mean?
I remember, well, it was like I was more of a slave than a wife. I wasn't treated like a wife. What he did say was, he asked me, he said, do you think that we're married? And I was afraid to answer. Like, my first reaction to that would be, yes, of course.
Right.
But I didn't want him to cut me or yell at me or laugh at me, because he was always laughing at me. Always laughing at me.
For those that want to deny that this sister was in the church, here you go. Here's proof. This is the sister Yahalama. And as we spoke about before, she was ordered in 2008 to get her own place. She wasn't to stay with anybody. This was Tazadaqyah's wife. And she was put out of the church. What kind of justice is this?